It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Bench. Fumble. Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
I can say right now, I can say, this is Joe Satriani. You are listening to Hard Rock and Sports Radio with Tommy and Jeff. Go Jets.
Hey, Rock fans, Mark Gutstock and Trickster, hanging out with my good buddies, old Jeff and Tom right here on Hard Rock and Sports. You listen, crank it up.
Hi, this is Mark Barner, and you're listening to Jeff and Tom on the Hard Rock and Sports Radio Show.
Hey, this is Olive Pressure, and I'm here to say that the official video for Just Undress is yours now. We had a lot of fun working on the song and filming for it, and we left some room for your fantasies. Anyway, I hope you like it, and we thank Hard Rock and Sports for help. Stay metal and listen to Story Metal.
I'm not single, I'm happy as you. I have all I need, well, except for you. When the night comes, I'm still awake. I watch you through my window and forever say, way you're such a tease, the world that's beating. I beg you, please. Step into the light. I must confess, I want you every night. Undress, just do this for me. I won't wanna let, I can't excuse how I feel. Day passes, just in my life, but in secret I can wait. That's a doctor's side. Vision is few. I lock myself into the room and I just wait for you to make me wait. You're such a tease, the world starts beating. I beg you, please. Undress, step into the light. I must confess, I want you every night. I'm dressed, just do this for me. I won't wanna let, I can't excuse how I feel tonight.
Is this for real? You don't even know what I feel. I want you here by my side, and I'll give you my best, but we lost our quest. I want you back. Can you be like before? And I lose my mind and my blind. Trust not the must, don't force my hand. Take a stand. It will never be as we planned.
Step into your light. I know you watch me every night. I'll do this for you. Come on, baby, come on, just undress. Undress, step into the light. I must confess, I want you every night. Undress, just do this for me. I want more than less, get to. Undress, step into the light. I must confess, I want you every night. Just I want more than less, can't excuse how I feel.
Hey, this is Ken Aronoff. You listen to Hard Rock Sports with Jeff and Tom.
With the players.
Live direct from hell's final.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rock and Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rock and Sports Studios in beautiful, scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, May the 5th, in the year of our Lord 2022. And say happy Cinco de Mayo to you all. Thank you. I hope you guys have had a great day and a good week. We missed you guys last week. We were only here on the premise of the Sunday Audible show for our big NFL draft show, but we're back this week with a very, very, very special show. And you saw the beginning. We had Olive from the band Pressure, who was kind enough to send us a little video clip and introduce their video for Just Undressed, a very interesting and well-done video, I must say. Definitely caught my attention. I hope it caught yours. What a great song by the band. We're huge fans of the band. The Story, I think they call it their Story Metal. They're out of Sweden, and they have been on the show numerous times, and we can't thank them and Sam Bone enough for allowing us to premiere their video right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. So thank you to Simon and Olive and all the band. Thank you guys very much, and great job along the way. Maybe we'll play it again later on. We got a big show for you tonight. Amongst all the other things we got to talk about, and it's a very busy time in sports, folks. We got Kentucky Derby this week. We got NHL playoffs. We just had the NFL draft. We got all the aftermath of the NFL draft. We got baseball. We got tons of stuff to talk about. We got Andy Curran tonight. That's right, Andy Curran, the former, I guess it's former. I don't think they've done much since 2018, but the founding member of Coney Hatch, the bass player, will be here tonight to join Jeff and I to talk about his new band, Envy of One. And they are putting they got their debut album out and a new video. And we're happy enough to have them on the show with us tonight. And one of the members of that band, by the way, is a guy by the name of Alex Lifeson. So we'll talk about that. We got Judas Priest in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got so much to get to, so much to do. We're just happy to have you guys here. And again, one more time, thanks to the band Pressure for letting us premiere their video for Just Undressed right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. And now it's time to kick off this show and get the show kicked off in the only way I know how to do it, and that's by bringing on my pal, the handsomest guy on his side of the screen, and probably the happiest guy for the last week since his Jets aced the draft, at least on paper. We don't know how to play out, but we'll give him some credit. But let's get the show kicked off with my buddy, Jeff Talwinski. What's up, Pepe? Oh no! Here we go. The glasses, the hat. What are we trying to convey with this look of yours?
Nothing to look at, man. Just
nothing to look at. Okay.
Just the way it is, bro.
That's it.
Yeah. You got an A+ in the draft.
So you're saying that your team has an A+, not an A plus.
Affirmative.
All right.
I don't expect the peasants to know what that means.
Oh, gotcha. So are you saying regular football fans? Are you being specific to a certain team? What being
specific to a lot of teams.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of teams. One of those teams might be in the NFC East.
Might be. Do they have a star on their helmet?
No, they do not.
They don't have a star on their helmet. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Do they have wings on their helmet? No.
Did they go by a certain? Let's see. Do I have it here? I don't have it here right now. I can't do it. All right. Well, listen. We will get to the NFL draft tonight. We have plenty of draft stuff to get to.
We do.
We'll talk about winners and losers in the draft. I think I'll say this, just a little overview. I did think that both New York teams did well. I will say that I think the Jets and listen, none of us know how it'll actually play out, Jeff. There's no way to know 3 years from now, 5 years from now, how many of these guys that we think are sure things actually make it in the thing. But on paper, I would tell you I really liked what the Jets did in that first round.
I have no choice but to like it, Tom. They've set the bar really high this year. I can't help it if others can't compete or reach. There's certain teams, I don't want to give out names.
Yes.
There's certain teams that could use a stepladder and still not be able to reach the heights that the Jets have reached.
I understand completely. What was I think everybody expected the picks they made early that were basically no-brainers. I thought, and I was very impressed with the second two picks that he made, with that Joe Douglas made, one trading up into the first round and getting Jermaine Johnson, a guy a lot of people thought was a top 10 defensive end. But there must be a reason why he dropped. And I love the Breece Hall pickup, the running back from, I believe it's Iowa. I thought that they did a nice job with those. I was more impressed with that than the first two picks. The first two picks were no-brainers. Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson are probably two of the best at their position in the draft. Let me know when you're ready to
I'm just advertising, that's all.
Yeah, well, I got you.
Let me explain something to you real quick.
Go ahead,
if
please.
I'm going after a running back,
Yep.
I'm going after a kid from Iowa. I would never take a running back from Penn State.
You wouldn't?
No, definitely not.
Really? So
really?
What can I ask why that is?
Why?
Yeah, please explain to me why you were saying
they're soft. They're soft.
Okay.
They're soft. They get injured often. They don't run far.
Okay. So no running back ever from Penn State has ever been any good in the NFL?
Not really.
Okay. I understand.
Not as of late. How's that?
Okay. So you're being more specific. You're saying the current generation of running backs from
I'd say any running back taken out of Penn State within the last 3 to 5 years.
Especially if they were number 2 picks in the draft.
Only a maniac would pick that high.
Gotcha.
90 Penn State running back.
Gotcha.
90 seconds. That's about the career length.
Yeah, we're going to lose. We're going to lose Block Talk Radio, which is okay. I have too many other things going on. I must have not clicked the 90-minute button. I must have clicked the 15-minute button. So anyway, it is what it is. Yes, I'm not that concerned about that. We'll be getting a guest shortly, Jeff. So we'll be talking to Andy Curran in a little bit.
60 seconds.
Looking forward to that. We'll talk a lot about the draft. Other than that, I thought the Giants did well. I was not surprised. I thought that Joe Shane handled it perfectly by grabbing Thibodeau at that pick, not the offensive lineman, and still giving him a chance to pick up any one of 3 of the offensive line that were available, and it was. And we all know Thibodeau's a little bit of a question mark. He's got the ability. He's got the characteristics of a great player. He said all the right things this week, but there are some question marks about him in the draft.
Yeah, there are, and it's a shame that he was, these questions follow him. But
10
listen, I didn't read anything good about him leading up to the draft. Too many questions. I think the Giants, I'm not going to say they reach, because if he turns out to be good, he's a good player.
Yeah, I brought my dad up because we were going to lose Block Talk, and I didn't want to go away without getting him on the show. So I got my dad up right away. Hey, Pop.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
All right, Mr. Fleur, how you doing today?
I tell you what, I was thinking about the draft, but I was starting to think more of baseball.
Okay.
And I'm watching games and getting a lot of hitting, especially the Mets. Getting hit, and I'm just wondering what you think about it.
Well, I mean, listen, they do say that hit batsman is up this year. The Mets, on the other hand, are being thrown at. I think it's simple. I think teams know that to beat them, you had to pitch them up and in. And I think that there's issues with the cold weather and the balls being a little bit of slick, and guys just missing. These guys just aren't great pitchers, and they're going to miss. Now, listen, if the Mets want to stop this, then do what they've been doing, and your pitchers got to throw back, and a little frontier justice.
I agree with you. It's just very, very, I don't know. the one thing I always hated to see was people being thrown at, even when you're down below. Because I've seen ball players that were very good and got hit. The one that comes to mind the most is Paul Blair for the Baltimore Orioles. He was one of the best center fielders, and he can hit.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he got hit in the head after that. He was still a good center fielder, but when you start throwing at somebody's head, it's a little.
Of course, listen. Sure. Listen, nobody wants to see that, but again, pitching in this game, that's part of the game. Now, nobody wants to see you lose it, but it happens, and I think that teams should not be afraid to pitch up and in, to keep guys off the plate. Guys are going to crowd the plate until you back them off, and I don't have a problem with it.
I'm just curious on what you think about the Jets and the Giants.
I'll go real quick. I mean, I thought the Jets did great, but again, it's on paper. But I thought he did really well at the first 2 picks, but I really liked the second 2 picks, and I think the Giants had a good draft. I mean, the second round, third round picks. Second round pick was okay with Wayndale Robinson, but I love the tight ends they drafted. The back end of the draft was really good, and I love the beginning. They got what they filled the need. So I'll let Jeff go next, but I think that both teams had a good draft.
You want me to speak about the Jets draft?
Both Jets and Giants. Oh, he's putting his glasses on. That you can't see. He's putting his sunglasses on. He's got his Jets hat on. He's in his glory because for 5 minutes the Jets are on top of things.
They're on top of it, baby. Listen, I think the Jets did pretty good in the draft. I'm not going to say pretty good. I'm going to say excellent. Pretty excellent in the draft. They addressed needs. Joe Douglas finally looks like he knows what he's doing somewhat. And let's hope that Coach Salah there could motivate these players to play at a high level and be successful in the NFL. If they are, I think that the Jets are going to be possible wild card contenders for this year. Both teams, I think, did rather well in the draft. The only question mark in the draft to me is Thibodeau. I just wish they took more of a solid player with that first pick. Too many questions about him. That's my only complaint about Thibodeau. Too many questions.
Well, again, it's one of those things. It's same thing happened last year to Micah Parsons, and he dropped, and Micah Parsons turned it to be the rookie of the year, I think defensive rookie of the year, and is on his way to probably a very good career. So I agree with you, Jeff. It's a question mark, but I think at that point he was best value, and they went for it, and we'll see how it plays out. But I can't knock the Giants for making that pick.
I have to agree with you. I think both teams are right. I think this is the first year I could actually say I thought the Giants did what they did. They needed both lines, and they got something on both sides of the ball. And then I think the Jets did it, and I think they're going to have – I think for once we're going to be able to see 2 teams maybe win at least 500 ball. Yeah,
I think you're looking at I think you're looking at 2 teams that should get better this year. How much? I mean, I think the Jets have a tougher road. The AFC, Jeff, is a much tougher conference, and their division's a much tougher division.
Yeah, without a doubt. But you want to know something? I just think that as a team overall, I think the Jets are a little bit more ahead of the game. The one thing that we're overlooking, and last week didn't touch base about, and hopefully we'll talk about it tonight a little bit, is the Giants' decision to not pick up the 5th-year option on Daniel Jones. I mean, yes, of course, it's too early to worry about who's going to quarterback next year. But then again, who's going to quarterback next year? What are the plans? Are they going to go after a free agent? Who's going to be a free agent? Is there somebody in the draft, entering the draft for next year that they got their eye on? You don't know. Are they going to wait and see? Do they want him to earn a contract, Jones? Because I don't know, man. I don't know. Like right now, Daniel Jones got to be pretty bummed out. I would think that it's going to take a lot of wind out of his sails, no?
No, I disagree. I heard Joe Shane interviewed yesterday on the Fan, and he came out and said, "Listen, it was a no-brainer from a business standpoint. If they pick up the option, it's $23 million. Yes, Daniel Jones still has some stuff hanging over his head with staying healthy and being productive. They feel like they gave him the ability this year to have talent around him, and they're saying basically go out there and make a contract. His stats was, we consider Daniel Jones our quarterback of the future. Now go out and earn it. And I have no problem with that. Let him go out this year and have a good year and earn a contract year or a franchise tag.
I have to agree with you 100%. I think the Giants finally got fed up with his. He's for some reason he just is not showing his ability, or they overestimated his ability.
Yeah,
I think this is the year he's going to have to do what he's got to do. You know that old saying, either go on a bowl or get off it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be much of a quarterback for them, but I'll give him another year. And if he doesn't he gets hurt, I think they're just going to get rid of him.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why Tyrod Taylor's the backup quarterback this year. You know, if the season goes the way it did last year, they have the ability to be a good team. And listen, everybody makes a big deal of the draft for next year. I worry about this year. I think Daniel Jones will be. I think he's got some talent around him. I think he's got a better coaching staff now, and I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be he'll be a Derek Carr type of guy. You know, might not be the greatest quarterback in the league, but he'll be a guy who'll be around a while, and he'll produce some numbers. And it'll all depend on the talent around him. That's the bottom line.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, guys, enjoy your show.
Thanks, Pop.
Talk to you later. Tommy, I'll talk to you over the weekend.
I will definitely see you over the weekend, Pop.
Buddy.
See you later, Mr. Florio.
That's my dad. He checks in every week. I'm glad I got him on there before Blog
Thank
Talk
you
went
for
away.
using Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I
So
hear
I
you.
want to make sure he's always excited to be on the show. He's more excited than we are. So I want to make sure I always get him on. And by the way, I want to send a big shout out to all the moms out there for this weekend. This Sunday will be Mother's Day. And I want to wish all the moms in my family and Jeff's and everybody out there. I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. So I hope you guys get out and enjoy your day. And everybody take care of Mom a little bit. I'm sure she deserves it.
And real quick, before we go any further, I would just like to dedicate tonight's show to the memory of a friend of mine, Rose DeMarco, a friend from work who I knew for many, many years, probably over 30 years. She died the other day. Real nice woman, a very big shame that she's no longer here on Mother's Day weekend. It was just her and her son, and she was really into her son and everything. Nice woman. Had a lot of fun time with her.
I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't know what happened. I just saw the Facebook post. Worst part is I can't even comment on it because I'm in jail.
Oh, man.
So I can't even. But they're having a little something for her on Monday, so I'll be there for that. But what a shame,
Yeah, very, very, very tough. I'm sorry to hear that, and our best wishes go out to Rose's family and friends, and as always, Jeff does a great job making sure that he gets it out there. We've had a couple of shows dedicated to people, and Jeff does a great job doing that. So again, our condolences to Rose and her family, and we hope they get through this Mother's Day weekend, and everybody else out there. We hope you guys have a nice weekend. But we got a couple hours of sports and music talk. We got a lot to get to tonight. I got 2-3 pages of notes. I don't know where the show's going to go, but we definitely got some stuff to talk about. Where do you want to go first, my friend? We got about 20 minutes to Andy Curran. So you want to get anything in? We can do that. You want to
pick something away, man?
Let's see. Where do we want to start with? We'll hold the playoff hockey. I think Andy Curran's a little bit of a Chicago Blackhawk fan, so maybe we'll hold the play, see if he's watching any of the playoffs, and get his take on that right now. Let's stay with the draft a little bit. We'll just stay on the fringe of it a little bit. Some interesting things happened in the draft. A lot of horse trading draft, as they call it, in the mid rounds. In the mid round of the first round under the draft, AJ Brown from the Titans got traded to the Eagles. Picks were moving around. A lot of receivers moved around this offseason. What's your take on why so many receivers? Devontae Adams gets moved, Tyreek Hill gets moved. You're talking about now. They're not talking about fringe players, Jeff. You're talking about franchise players. AJ Brown gets moved. Marquise Brown, the Ravens receiver gets traded out to the Cardinals. A lot of big name receivers. Why is it?
Seems as though that wide receiver, is the next big premium position. And the paychecks are come rolling in. And a lot of these guys that you made mention of have or are going to receive a huge payday. And their former teams, whether they didn't want to pay them, didn't think they were worth the money, couldn't have the cap room, whatever the case was, ended up trading these players before they were faced with this decision. It was a big year in this draft for receivers. So a lot of teams wanted to, take advantage of that and, try to get somebody else, I guess. And you paid them for a lesser rate for a longer time. A Tyreek Hill, guy's been playing at a high level for how many years? How much money you think you're going to have to pay him when he says that he wants to redo his deal?
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be paying him $6-7 million a year, or whatever he was making before that. And a lot of people never made mention of the fact that Tyreek Hill had some law problems, legal problems just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And he kept his nose clean, so he's going to be up for a big payday again soon. So, I guess Kansas City doesn't want to be on the hook for that after what they're paying for Mahomes. You definitely don't want to be paying Tyreek Hill now. So, I guess that has a lot to do with it also.
Yeah, I guess that the fact that beside left tackle and defensive end and obviously quarterback, it seems like the numbers for the number one receiver have gone up, and teams just can't afford it, and they're trying to now grab that young, inexpensive, wide receiver coming out of the draft and get 4 solid years out of him before they have to move on, because you can't pay everybody top dollar, Jeff. You just, I guess at the end of the day, I think I've seen enough teams play with and win Super Bowls, without that big number one receiver, without that, blockbuster Hall of Fame. The Patriots won a bunch of Super Bowls with really good receivers, but nobody, Randy Moss they had for a year. He didn't win a Super Bowl with them.
Yeah, is it, Tom? We made mention that the running game was going to come back, and that definitely does not look like it's going to happen anytime soon. We kind of oversold that moment, I guess you could say.
Maybe.
Is it that maybe you don't need the greatest quarterback and you could do it with a better receiver, and vice versa, maybe a better quarterback and a little bit of a lesser receiver? Let the quarterback make the receiver a little bit better and work it that way, because some of these guys, some teams are not going to be able to pay certain players certain kinds of money. And you get a small market team that's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Not going to be able to afford it. And not everybody's going to be paying a quarterback $40-45 million a year, whatever they're going to be getting this year. Some of these guys, it's astronomical.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem, is that the quarterback market has jumped so high. And honestly, let's be honest, not for what I would call superior talent, Jeff. I mean, we're not talking about paying Tom Brady $50 million. I think we'll or Aaron Rodgers. The problem is the Packers are paying Aaron Rodgers, $40-50 million, and they can't afford to pay Devontae Adams. They can't pay him $20-something million. There's $70 million of a $200 million payroll. You can't do it.
And I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Aaron Rodgers, who second year in a row had to make his mind up of where he was going to go and play, chose the Packers, and then days later the Packers get rid of his number one receiver. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and then don't draft a receiver in the first round of the draft. It's just, it's I don't know what the plan is. They went linebacker Quay Walker from Georgia. They went Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. It wasn't until I think the third round they got Christian Watson from South Dakota State. So, I mean, I think the problem is, and I think we both agree, do we need a great quarterback, elite quarterback? I mean, I don't think you need an elite quarterback to win the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody would have said that Matthew Stafford is an elite quarterback. I think Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback who won the Super Bowl this year with a good team around him. So I don't think that you need to have the elite quarterback anymore. But do we need to keep paying these guys $40 and $50 million a year and then not have enough money to pay everybody else? I think that's the question. When does the bubble break on the quarterback pay scale?
Who the fuck knows, Tom? Really, seriously, who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
it's just going through the roof, and it's no sign of it slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, well, they brought up an interesting point. What do the Ravens do right now with Lamar Jackson? They just traded away his best receiver, right? Who basically came out and said, by the way, I want to be traded because I don't like the offense we're running here in Baltimore. So if you're the Ravens, Jeff, I mean, are you really putting $40 million on the plate of Lamar Jackson?
Tom, they may have no choice at this point in time because, and not only that, you had a receiver on his way out the door making a comment like that. Now, anybody that might have thought about coming over, like, whoa, what do you mean you don't like the offense they're running? Here's the number one receiver asking to get let go, and he's complaining about the offense they were running. Maybe I don't want to go there. It's going to make it harder. But Lamar Jackson's a different kind of talent, not one that I wish was on my team because I don't.
But it's perplexing if you're the Ravens because you're caught in the middle of a guy who has a lot of ability, but really not a great ability as a quarterback in this league.
No, you want him to develop a running a passing game more so than just be known as a runner. To see a way he's not a one-trick pony, so to speak. And that's not the way that he's being molded and nurtured with the people around him.
Yeah.
So, you're going to keep it up that he's going to have to run the ball and be the running game and everything. Now you make him even more one-dimensional, I feel.
No, I'm with you. But, Jeff, listen, our guest popped up a little early. He looks like he's a busy man, so I think we're going to have to get him on early and so we don't lose him because we're excited to have Andy Curran. But he is here not to talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, Jeff. I guarantee that's not on it. Maybe we'll talk a little playoff hockey with him. I think he might be a hockey fan. But he is here to talk about Envy of None, his new band, and their new single, Never Said I Love You, from their debut album, Envy of None. And again, if you guys don't know and you're not paying attention, Envy of None, it does star Andy Curran, who is going to be our guest in a second. Of course, you guys all know Andy from Coney Hatch, Alfio Anna Bellini, and singer Maya Wynn. And, of course, the guy, I think, Jeff, some of you guys might have heard from this guy, Lifeson, Alex Lifeson. I think he used to be some famous Canadian band. But, maybe Andy will help us spark who he is. What do you think?
It's possible.
Listen, let's not keep Andy hanging in there. Let's bring on to the Hard Rock and Sports Show, Andy Curran. Andy, welcome to our show.
Hey, gentlemen. How are you? Great to see both of you today, man.
Nice to see you too, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So,
can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, terrific. Thank you very much for popping up. We appreciate it. Can you hear us?
I just lost you. I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us now?
I don't think you can hear us, Jeff.
No
Andy
good?
out there? We hear you. We see you, but we can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's got to be something on your end. We're good on here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're hearing each other. I don't know. Let's hope he gets his. Andy, you there, Andy? Andy.
He says he can't hear us.
That's what he said. He's not muted on our end, Jeff. I can't control Andy at this point. I just let's see if I can add him back. I'll try it again. Andy, how's that? You there? Andy. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, Jeff, with Andy Curran tonight.
He said that he was able to hear you when he was in the waiting room.
Yeah, I see that. I see that now. And listen,
Just heard you now.
Okay, so that's really
Andy,
bizarre, boys. I was in the waiting room and I could hear both of you, but the minute you said welcome, Andy, I lost the audio. I don't know what to say. It's technology, some gremlins, maybe between Canada and the U.S. Should we use sign language or?
And try and reboot.
Maybe I could try with my phone. I could try back and see if on the phone. Yeah, I'll reboot. I'll try back. Okay, boys.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
So we'll see. We'll see if we get any better next time.
I hope so. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, bass player, Coney. You a big Coney Hatch guy, Jeff?
No.
I
can't say that I've ever heard of him. I'm interested in what he's doing with Alex Lifeson. I have some questions for him, of course.
Good.
Because one of the biggest questions I got for him simply is, Alex Lifeson played with a certain bass player for quite some time, and now here you come. Where do you rank here? You know what I mean? It's like, how does it feel to come up behind him?
I think it's a fair question, and when a guy like Alex plays with a certain guy for a long time, they get a feel for each other. Is it difficult for a guy like Andy to and Alex to kind of click in that way? How does that work? But let's see if Andy comes back, and in the meantime, we'll keep up with the draft a little bit. We'll talk a little about the Rangers tonight. They got the Screw the Rangers. But did you ever look at the goal, Jeff, by any chance?
Yes, I did. I looked at it earlier today, and I myself.
If you were the goal judge, and if you were the replay judge, how would you have handled that? Would you have allowed it or disallowed it?
I hate that you asked me that question because I was always never liked the interference and in the crease rules.
Okay.
When I used to be a big hockey fan, and I thought a lot of them sucked, especially at certain times, because how are you supposed to keep people out of the crease and everything else, especially when you have a defenseman on you?
Right.
I would have to get up to speed with hockey again to really give an honest answer to that. But from what I've seen, and it's the playoffs, I think I would have allowed it to be a goal. But I think that no matter what happens, I think that there would have been a problem with.
Well, here's the thing.
Either way, that a decision was made simply because if you said it was a goal, then somebody's going to get mad. You say it's not a goal, somebody's going to get mad.
Well, I listen. Nobody's ever going to agree totally. I was surprised because the broadcasters thought it was a goal. I was watching the game. Mark Messier and Chris Chelios, who were in the studio, they said they thought it was no goal. But I heard audio of the Penguins radio team, and they thought it was a goal. My problem was his skates are kind of turned sideways, like he's going to try to cut across the crease. And the defenseman's got his head in his back, pushing him into the thing. How could you not call it, how could you call that goaltending interference? He was trying to get out of the way, and the guy's own teammate pushed him. I don't understand
I agree. I agree. But like I said, when, Chris Chelios and Mark Messier saying that it was no goal, these guys played in the height of in the crease rule. You know what I'm saying? They were active participants in the NHL at the time of the in the crease rule, and when they were going through that, like all you had to do was have a skate in there, and that was it. Now, some of the things that you just said, the skates were turning one way, the guy's head was over here, he's getting pushed there, he's doing this, he's doing that. Just way too many variables to be trying to break down to see what way was this guy going. His left hand was doing this, his right hand was doing that. He was looking this way, but yet he was getting pushed that way. Listen, here's the bottom line. You got two guys converging on one spot, going after a puck the size of what, an apple or an orange, with about 20, 25 miles an hour on ice, and you don't think that there's going to be some kind of an issue?
Yeah.
Just the question in general. I think that it should have been a goal the way that I saw it. But like I said, the reason that I would need to see more is because what do they consider that? Before there was the in the crease rule, that would have been a goal all day long. Then there was the in the crease rule. That's not a goal anymore. Now I know that that's all changed in the 20 years since I've really been watching hockey.
Yeah.
So God only knows what constitutes that rule nowadays.
Yeah, listen, I agree. Listen, I think you could ask 100 people and you probably get 100 different answers on whether that's a goal or not. But I think at some point, 3 minutes left in a playoff hockey game, I have a hard time disallowing that goal. But speaking of goal, our guest is back. Let's get him up and see if we have any better luck this time. Andy, how about now? We got you? I don't think so. Andy.
There he is.
I can see him. I can't. I think he's frozen, Jeff.
Okay, we're gonna try this again, right? Oh, man.
I can hear you.
It must be because I'm from Canada. I'm so far away, boys, that the risk is bad. I dialed back in on my phone. Is it any better?
We can hear you.
We hear you fine.
Okay,
Are you
great.
hearing us?
Well, it's a little, yeah, pretty good. It's a little staticky, but I think enough like it's like a rock and roll show where you've got squealing from the amps. So let's do it old school and do some combat rock interview. Great to see both of you today. And like hard rock and hockey and sports. What else is there, boys? Maybe women and cars.
There you go. I love this guy already, man.
Andy, we talk a lot of sports. We talk a lot of great music, and we're happy to have you on the show. We're big fans, and we love the new band. So let's get right into the band. Just in case we lose you, I want to at least get you here for the purpose of what you came for, and that's Envy of None. And tell us about the new project. The album is great. It's so kind of 80s pop. It's just so different than what you hear out there today. How'd you guys put this together?
Well, it's been quite a fun ride, and yeah, I heard you guys before we went on air, and you were talking about some guy named Alex Leifson. I've never heard of him. I don't know who you're talking about. In all seriousness, Alex and I go way back. We were label mates on Anthem Records back in 1982 when Coney Hatch got signed to Anthem Records, and then we actually struck up a pretty with all three guys. I played quite a bit of tennis with Geddy Lee and golf with Alex, and not so much on the rock and roll side, boys. And that's the sports colliding again, which I always find, I struck up a great friendship with Steve Harris by playing tennis. And so I love when sports and rock and roll collide. But, the friendship kind of even grew from there when my solo band opened up for Rush on the Roll the Bones tour. And subsequently, guys, I put down my bass for a while, for, close to 15 years. And I've worked with Anthem as their A&R guy and part of their management company. So that's when I really solidified my friendship with Alex. And we had never really discussed working together as musicians. I always felt that I was like the label guy and part of the management, right? But it's one of those lightning strikes moments when I played him some seeds of a demo that I had done with Al Finopolini and Maya Wynn, and asked him if he might be interested in playing guitar on it. And he fell in love with her voice and said, "Man, I'm in. I think she's amazing." And that was just prior to COVID, guys. And if one good thing came out of COVID, it was definitely the fact that there's no distractions. We were all shacked up in our studios, and we just got busy writing a record, and it's been really fun. And it's an overused phrase, but the beginnings of this project were very organic, no pressure. It just kind of happened, It's a bit of a pinch me moment to be working with Alex too, I gotta say.
That's great. Before Jeff goes, I got a quick question. Listen to this music, having heard some of your solo stuff, obviously the Coney Hatch stuff, obviously listen to Alex and Rush. This type of music doesn't seem to fit the mold. Where did the impetus for this sound come from? Was it organic? Was it something somebody had in their head and said, "Hey, this is what I'm searching for"? How did this come about? Because it's obviously very different than what I'm used to hearing from either one of you guys.
Yeah, it is a real departure for both Alex and I. I do think, guys, there are elements a little bit like for Rush fans, it's pretty unmistakable, Alex's guitar on some of these songs. And, there's a lot of driving, distorted bass on it too, but stylistically, you're right. It's more trippy, it's more ambient, it's not as in your face as our other projects were, maybe not as edgy, but you know, again, here's another interesting sports music collision. You know, we had been talking about writing music for film and television, Alex and I, and we got approached by Amazon's All or Nothing to write some music for a documentary they did on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it was a lot of fun. We started writing just sort of background cool music for film and television, and I think that kind of spilled over into the Envy and None vibe. You know, you're right, it's very different, but so far the response has been, I would say, you know, 90% positive. Some of the Rush fans are like, what the hell is this? This ain't Rush and this ain't Coney Hatch. But you know, it's kind of rewarding too, boys, to stretch a little bit as a musician, and you work, you don't, I don't know, I compare it to getting up every morning. Like most of the time you don't eat the same thing. You want to change it up a little bit. You want to wear some different clothes. You want to go to different concerts. You want to go see different sports things. And that's the same with us as musicians. We want to scratch a bit of a different itch, you know?
Sure. Go ahead, Jeff.
Andy, I got to be the first to ask a question and make the comparison. I just have to, because that's me. I'm a bass player also, but I shouldn't even be mentioning Geddy's name. But how do you follow up Geddy Lee when Alex played with Geddy for, what was it, since the beginning of time, it seems like? Were you intimidated at all, or did you just go in there as Andy and just play the way that you play?
Jeff, kind of the latter. You know, it was subconsciously in the back of my mind, like, my God, this is the first thing since Alex has done leaving Rush. And Jeff, I got a phone call from him just before we started the Envy of None record. I got a call from Alex, and he said to me, Andy, would you mind putting some bass on some demos, some songs I'm working on? And I was like, dude, don't you know any other bass players? Like, you got guys whose initials are GL on speed dial. Like, why are you calling me, right? And he said, no, Geddy's busy writing his big book of bass, and so I was honored. But listen, full transparency, I'm not interested in a steel cage match with Geddy Lee. That would not end well. we're different types of bass players. I spent many years as a teenager learning Rush songs, but you know, learning them and writing them are two different things. And Geddy's such a phenomenal bass player. It was a huge influence of mine and is a very good friend. But I must admit, you know, like, there were times I thought, okay, you know, it was kind of, Jeff, I didn't go there. I just tried to be more what I could bring to it and less worried about what a Rush fan's going to think. And can I actually go head to head with Geddy? And the answer to that question is no.
Well, listen, I would never even think that anybody would want to try to go head to head with Geddy. And this interview is not about Geddy. It's just spending some time with you and getting to know you. But I mean, these are just things that I have to ask as a bass player. And
it's a great question.
This is the closest that I'll ever get to talking to Geddy Lee, more than likely. And, you know, I had to ask, but, you know, like, I love the line you said about being in a steel cage with him. That's great, man, because, you know, it's Geddy Lee is like the epitome. There's only a few like Geddy Lee, Chris Squire, John Entwistle, Geezer Butler.
Absolutely.
You know, these are the men at the top of the mountain. And I think that's really cool that you slid in next to Alex Lifeson and you're doing this with Alex, man. Good for you, dude. That's really great. It really is. That's
Jeff,
cool.
Thanks for saying that, dude. And right, he's in a league of his own. And one little, I want to share a Geddy Lee story with you, because there's a song on the record. It ends the record. It's called Western Sunset, and Alex wrote it as a tribute to our dear buddy Neil Peart. And I had never recorded with a fretless bass on any of my previous stuff, but Geddy Lee had given me as a present a fretless Jaco Pastorius relic Fender jazz bass. And it's such a beautiful bass. And I don't know why, guys, like, I had like song written it for Neil. I ended up playing that in retrospect. That's cool. wrote a song for Neil Peart, asked me to play bass on it, and I ended up choosing the bass Lee gave me as a gift, and it just came kind of full circle. And Alex has played Envy of None for Geddy Lee and said, dude, what do you think? And you know what his answer was, guys? He said the album should be called Envy of One. And I thought that was a pretty cool compliment coming from Geddy.
Wow, yes, that is a compliment. And of course, Jeff Towinski's on top of the screen. I'm Tom Florio. This is the Hard Rock and Sports Show. And we're honored to have Andy Curran with us. Andy, of course, you guys know from Coney Hatch, but even more now, he is the envy of all of us and with Envy of None. And their new debut album is an amazing album, again, titled Envy of None. And their new single, Never Said I Love You. Guys, check it out. It's all great music from a great band. And, Jeff, now we've gotten to talk to, some of the top hard rock guys. For me, I got to talk to Rick Emmett, who's one of my favorite growing up from Triumph. Now we got Andy here, and now we just got to put it on the bucket list, either Alex or Geddy. And now we got a little Canadian credibility now.
Listen, I'm having a great time as it is right now with a lot of interesting facts. And Andy, you're a great guy, it seems. And we got a ton more questions for you. I'm sure Tommy's got a bunch.
I got one right now for you. As a matter of fact, Andy,
are you there? Knowing that, look, he's one person away from Rush, man. That's really cool.
Andy, you there still? Because you're frozen. I think we lost him. I think I kissed his ass and he's frozen.
He hung up on us.
I don't know if he hung up, but he's all froze up there. Andy! Damn it. Oh, man. I got my follow-up questions. I got some hockey. Andy!
What a nice guy, too, man.
Yeah, very nice. And an amazing player. And the music's great. It took me a while, Jeff, to get used to listening to it because you hear Andy Curran from Coney Hatch, you hear Alex Lifeson, and then you hear the music. You're like, where is this coming from? Yeah. And it takes a minute to get there, and you gotta really kind of buy in. And once you buy in, you go, okay, I got to get rid of the other stuff and put it aside and not think I'm listening to Limelight or something else from the past.
Listen, I'm sure that when you see some of these guys in long-term bands, Alex Lifeson, and you know that he was doing what he was doing and what he was capable of.
Yeah.
You see him do something else, and it's like, wow, that's not what I expected. And it's it could take away from the new project, and you should give the new project a chance.
Absolutely, 100%.
Years ago, when the Abbott brothers were alive, and they came out with Damage.
There he is. He's back. Andy, you back with us?
we got some serious gremlins going on. It must be like the Canadians with the sled getting in the way here on my internet. They're churning it away on the
Andy,
side. Boys.
It's okay. You missed my complete kissing of your ass while in front while you were frozen. So you missed it.
Oh, I love it. Well, in hindsight, thanks for kissing my Canadian butt. But I caught bits of Triumph, and they're my buddies too. And there's a nice sort of a tie-in. Like Rick Emmett's a huge sports fan too. Like you can't even get that guy to talk about music half the time. He wants to talk to you about sports.
Well, I screwed up because I had Rick on, and Rick's one of my, one of the guys that growing up I loved listening to, and one of my favorite players of all time as a guitar player. And I didn't know he was a music guy, a sports guy, and it wasn't until the very end of the interview where he said, "By the way, I'm a big Toronto Blue Jay fan," and I was like, I can't believe I blew it. But I know that you're a hockey fan, and I've sent more emails to Geddy and Alex to say, come on and talk sports with us, man. We just want to talk sports with you guys. But listen, maybe we got a little Canadian cred now with you being on the show, and I'll take another run at those guys again later on. But I do want to ask this question. You said this all started at the beginning of the of COVID, putting this whole thing together. And was it easier or more difficult? Obviously, you guys did a lot of the writing and stuff apart. Was it easier or harder to make this thing work because of that? I'm curious because a lot of people say, I made it better because you got to concentrate on it more. And some people thought it would have made it harder because you're not in the same place together.
Yeah, actually, you know what, guys? I think it was easier. It was you know,
I think we're just destined not
distracted.
to get it tonight.
He's a huge golfer. He spends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a shame, man. I don't know if he can hear us. I could hear him barely mumbling something in the back. Could you hear him?
I'm not hearing anything. It's just such a shame. May have to try to get him on another time where maybe he's home back when he's home and
There was no distraction.
I think Andy. I had to boot it because I don't know. What a nice guy. We got to make this happen, Jeff. Somehow we got to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely, man. How were you able to get him?
His people sent me an email and just said would you like to have any of the band members from Envy of None on? I listened to it and I said Alex Lifeson. I said, all right, yeah, who's willing? They said right now we can get you Andy, and I said I'll take it. He's Andy Curran. I'll take him in a heartbeat.
Okay. Well,
so that's how we got him.
Get back to them. Tell them that we had a bad connection.
Yeah.
We'd love to have him come back on at another time when we could really talk with him. I mean, the guy is wow.
Listen, this is a guy who's toured with he plays tennis with Steve Harris and records with Alex Lifeson, and he's played the Maple Leaf Garden. He's played all the big events. And this is a guy who's done it all. And I really like the new stuff. So because I will send an email out to his people and see if we can reschedule it for any other time. And if we have to do a different day of the week, I'd even do it to get him back on.
Yeah, he seems like a really like a gentleman too, man.
Yeah,
real nice guy. So it's definitely cool if we could get him back on.
All right. Well, listen, it's up. Maybe he'll get to a better spot and try again. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, let's Hard Rock and Sports. Jeff and Tom hanging out, talking a little sports, to a little music tonight. We got plenty to get to still. We were talking about the screw the Ranger button. Jeff thought that it was a goal, but he can understand how that does. The Rangers a game 2 tonight at home against the Penguins. Kind of a must win. I don't think you can get down 2-0 and Andy's back again. Maybe we can try it one more time.
Shot again.
I can only hope, Jeff. Andy. He just got a bad connection with us tonight. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'll send him a message, a chat number.
He keeps trying to get in too, man. Oh, I feel bad for him. You don't mind when you get somebody that's self-absorbed and they just talk about themselves nonstop. Then you're like, all right, who cares? But this guy is answering questions. He's really cool about things, and we can't get a decent connection with him.
Yeah, we just can't seem to get him in a good spot. I would think it might be us, but you're hearing me, I'm hearing you. Clear as day.
Yeah, no, it's fine, man. What a shame.
Yeah, it's a good guest, and we'll see what shakes out of it. But right now, we're just having a hard time. Are we on Facebook at this point? I mean,
I don't know. We could check.
Yeah, can you do a quick check and see if we're on Facebook and make sure we're up and running? And
let me see. I don't see that. Let me see.
My screen's got 2 check marks, so it tells me that I think we're good, YouTube and Facebook, but
I don't see us on Facebook.
Well, hold on, let me go. Let's see.
I don't see us.
Let's see.
That doesn't mean that we're not on.
No, we're there. We're definitely there. I see it. So we're there. We're definitely on, Jeff. I'm on the Hard Rock and Sports Facebook page, and the show is definitely there for people who want to see it.
Okay. Well, Patrick, man.
Huh?
Patrick.
Yeah, he's disappeared. I don't know. I've not seen hide nor hair of Patrick in a couple months now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, he was a regular.
Yeah, he used to enjoy when Patrick came on.
Yeah, I knew. I know we're on. I mean, I saw Sam and Mike and a bunch of the people that are norms popped up. But let's just move on, Jeff. We'll see. Maybe Andy will try coming back later on. Let's stay in the music topic. Judas Priest. You aware that Judas Priest was now going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Tom, I pay about as much attention to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as I do to the back of the deodorant cans and shampoo bottles now when I'm in the bathroom. None.
So does it mean okay? You know it now. It's a couple months from now. They're having the big ceremony where you tune it in and see who's standing up there with the boys. And
I doubt it.
No. Well,
yeah. Is that him again?
It's Andy. He's. I gotta tell you, he's persistent. I give him credit. It just tells me he's not attached. He's not connected yet. Device is not connected. He's there, but he just can't seem to get a connection.
Do you think he can hear us at this time?
I don't know. I'm not sure. He might be able to hear us. If he's in the studio, in the waiting room, he can hear us. I just don't know if he's there. I got a ton of questions about different. I mean, the guy's played tennis with Steve Harris, my all-time favorite player. Of Rick Emmett. I can talk to this guy all night.
Well, unfortunately, due to the connection, it don't look like we're going to get to talk to him much.
Yeah,
and I feel bad that he keeps trying to.
You got to give him credit. He definitely.
Holds up his end of the bargain, man.
Yeah, but listen, let's stay with till he pops up. Let's stay with the Judas Priest. I think it's great. Listen, I'm with you. I don't pay attention to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Some of the people got in were let's see, Carly Simon, Dolly Parton got in anyway. Let's see, Andy. Hey guys, I'm sorry, my laptop and cell phone not working great. Shall we try and reschedule? Absolutely. I will reach out to Chip and set it up. It would be great to have him on again. So, listen, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are going in, and Carly Simon and Dolly Parton. And I give Dolly Parton credit. She said, "Listen,
he's had the issues with StreamYard before."
Huh?
He said he had. Andy, I don't know if you can hear us, but whatever. Unfortunately, you can't get on. Maybe next time you got better luck.
You use a MacBook, right? Because I'm on an LG computer. I've never had a problem.
No, my MacBook is retired because I had to get rid of my MacBook because it was just too old.
Right.
But it's just okay. Man, it sucks, but I don't think it's a MacBook thing. But it is what it is.
All right, I'll send the email out after the show to Chip and everybody and reschedule them for next week. So,
yeah,
absolutely. Thanks, Andy. We really do appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Oh man, look at this. We're gonna get talk Rush and hockey and all kinds of things.
Listen, we'll do it again next week, man. No problem doing it again next week. So,
yeah.
Speaking of which, so yeah, Jeff. So good for Judas Priest. It's about time we get one of our bands in there. Does it matter? Am I running to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? No. Am I going to watch the thing? Probably watch. I probably will watch it. I'm only interested. I'm always interested in seeing what members what members are show up. Who should be there? Let me ask you that question.
KK, Glenn, Ian, Scott, and Rob.
So yeah, I'm curious to see if they'll. I know there's a lot of bad blood with KK. I'm wondering if they'll put it aside. Do they go out there and play with KK? Oh. I know Glenn has done some one or two songs here and there along the way. I'm curious to see if I'm sure he's going to try. Do they go out there with KK? I think they have to, Jeff. He's alive. you got to bring him up there.
You know, it would be the perfect way
Mhm.
to bury this rift.
I agree with that.
Put everything behind us. Realize what you've done is what you have done as a band. Realize where you stand.
Yeah.
Realize that Glenn is not well.
Yeah.
And does not look very good when he does make these arrangements to come up and play.
Mhm.
And before we have any other tragedies and losses in life, let's put this behind us and at least get one more tour around, guys, please, before it's too late.
Yeah.
Enjoy one another. Enjoy the time that you have.
Sure. You guys ain't getting any younger.
For us, but to say this as fans, but you know, I mean, come on, do it one more time, man.
I could not agree with you more. I think that's a perfect opportunity. And some bands don't do it. I mean, Kiss didn't do it. They stood up there together, but they would refuse to play with each other up there. And I think it's the biggest tragedy in the world. You know, you're in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You have the ability to go out there and do what you did to get yourself there, and you blow it. And I hope that Judas Priest is smart enough to give the fans what they want and get. You know, listen. Whether they go forward with KK, I don't care. It'd be nice to do it, but go out there, play 4 songs, and do it. Let me ask you. Here's the last question. Judas Priest is going up there, and they're going to celebrate being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What 4 songs should they play?
Oh, well, let me. What 4 songs should they play, or what 4 songs are they going to play?
No. I know. I'm pretty sure I know what 4 songs they're going to play. I'm asking you if
Judas Breaking the Law.
Okay.
Not that I want to see them play. That's what they're going to play. Maybe, if we're lucky, maybe you got another thing coming.
Yeah, maybe that Turbo Lover, one of the 2 they'll play.
I don't know if they're going to play Turbo Lover.
But you're right. Something from that album.
And I don't know. I can't say what a 4th would be. I don't care, but I mean, me, if I had to pick 4.
Yeah, I want you to give me the 4, Jeff. You were setting up the set list for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What 4 songs in your mind put Judas Priest on the map?
Exciter.
Okay.
Exciter, man. Painkiller. Gotta be Painkiller, man. Gotta be Painkiller. Victim of Changes. Oh my God. Victim of Changes, man. Victim of Changes twice. I don't care. Play it, cheer, play it again. I don't care. You got to play it. Man, listen, just about anything. Old Priest, Ripper, Diamonds and Rust, Genocide, you know, Metal Gods. Oh my God. Here, come out, do Exciter. Okay. Into Victim of Changes, fucking Metal Gods. And then end it with Painkiller, or you know, that's enough right there.
I would agree, but you're right. You're going to hear the more of the commercial stuff. I mean, it should be Hellbent for Leather. It should be any of that early Green Manalishi. You know, to me, that's the stuff that I want to hear because that's what got me hooked on Priest back in the day. But yeah, you picked 4 good ones, and but again, I will think that none of what we just said will probably wind up to be what they play. It'll be the commercial success
Hellbent
stuff.
for Leather, maybe Hellbent for Leather.
Maybe, but maybe. I think you'll hear Living After Midnight or Breaking the Law. You'll hear
both of those.
You'll probably hear Another Thing Coming for sure. You know, stuff that they did was more of the commercial success.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
yeah, we'll see. But good for Judas Priest, and about time they got in. But I would tell you, after a while, it's almost like, you know, who cares? Because it's so long in coming that it almost doesn't count anymore.
You know, now I got to write this down so that I remember to do it. I got to make a Judas Priest song list tomorrow. I do. I have to do it.
Okay. And by the way, I
may even have to leave the show early for a little bit to do it.
the guy who set this interview up, Chip with Andy Curran, they handled Judas Priest, and I sent them a message today. I said, "You got to get me one of them. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've been a loyal follower, faithful helper of interviews for 5 or 6 years with you guys. You got to get us one of the 2. I want Halford, but I'll take Ian Hill."
Listen, get Glenn at this point in time.
I'm not sure that might be like interviewing Andy Curran just now.
Did you were you able? You had KK Downing.
Yes, I did. I've tried to get him again, but it seems for some reason there's somebody in the way, and it was very, very difficult to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. I doctored up information. How many people listen? Yeah, millions. Give me fucking KK Downing. Who's paying attention anymore? I fucking don't care. I tried. Like
Evidently, somebody's paying attention, Tom. That's why they're asking these questions.
I guess so. So I'm gonna take. Well, I'll take another run at it now that they've announced. I haven't seen any of the announcements on who will be inducted. Well, I believe it's the band will be inducted, and KK will be there. He'll be invited. Whether he plays with the band is going to be the big question.
I think they should fucking play, man.
I agree with you, but let's see if they can bury the hatchet and have Glenn and Cake. I mean, how great would it be? I have to tell you, I would be captivated to watch if the original band, who would have been the original drummer?
No. They've had so many drummers. One, I don't even know who the original drummer is.
Was it Dave Holland?
No. Dave Holland's dead.
Okay.
Not only is Dave Holland dead, Dave Holland was accused and spent time in jail for child molestation.
Yes, I know, but he wasn't the original?
No, he was not.
Wow, I'd have to go back and take a look and see who the original drummer
was. Binks was was definitely there before him.
Mm-hmm.
God only knows who else was there.
I guess I'd have to go back. It's kind of like the Spinal Tap of metal.
Gotta look it up now. Gotta see. Let me see.
Yeah, take a look and see who was give me the original. To me, I can't say original. I don't care who was on the 75 album where they were all wearing flowered shirts. I'm talking about who did like the first of the metal stuff. Who was the drummer?
Well, original drummer for Judas Priest drummers: Dave Holland, Scott Travis, and Les Binks.
Okay.
List of Judas Priest band members. Let's see who we got here.
So Dave Holland was the original drummer?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He is not the original drummer. Ian Hill, Glenn Tipton, Rob Halford, Scott Travis, former. There was Bruno Stappenhill in 1969, who gave way to John Partridge in 1970. Then there was Fred Woolley in 1970. Simon Phillips in 1977. Les Binks, 1977 and 1979. Dave Holland, 1979 to 1989, died in 2018.
So I would have to say that Dave Holland would be the guy I would consider the Judas Priest original.
I don't know why you keep saying that. Les Binks played on like a couple albums. Man.
Yeah, but for me, I captured Judas Priest in 1980, 81. So that would have been the Dave Holland era. Then I went back and found Les Binks. You're right. But if you didn't tell me Les Binks was the drummer for Judas Priest, I'd have no idea.
Yeah, you would have never have known. I hear you, but it's just the idea and the thought. That smells like potato chips here.
Yeah. Hard Rock Sports, Jeff and Tom got to premiere the video for Just Undressed from our friends in Sweden, Pressure. And we had a quick conversation with Andy Curran of Coney Hatch. We'll try to get that back next week.
That was a preliminary.
Yes, it was our preliminary. And I'm looking forward to talking to Andy now that I think it's something to be pretty cool. You got to spend the week coming up with some more questions and so maybe some technical based stuff and let the guy rip it apart for us. But we're still hanging in there. We've got a little while longer. We'll talk some more sports. And in fact, I want to move on to DeAndre Hopkins, Jeff, being suspended 6 games for PEDs.
Yeah.
DeAndre. Yeah, here's the thing. I think this is the beginning of the end of your boy Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler Murray's looking to bounce. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out for 6 games. Marquise Brown goes there. I think this is the beginning of the end of the Arizona Cardinals, and I couldn't be happier.
I don't know why you say that. One, you were so wrong last year.
I wasn't wrong. They started out great, but they ended like shit. They didn't make the playoffs. 10-0, they didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't get into playoffs. They weren't.
No.
They didn't get into playoffs.
No. They
Well,
fell
didn't
apart.
get fired. You were saying about people getting fired.
Well, I was wrong about them
Everything
getting
else.
fired. I'll admit, but you go 10-0, and I think you go 1-6 the rest of the season, and it ain't great.
Well, listen,
Okay.
it is what it is, man. But I don't think that he's going to be on his way out. I think, if anything, Kyler Murray will be on his way out.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this much. I think that Cliff Kingsbury is going to do a better job this year.
What makes you think that?
Because I think teams learn from their mistakes, and a team like that, they're going to learn. They're going to try to capitalize what they did. That division is going to be a little bit easier to deal with this year for a couple different reasons. I think 2 teams took a step backwards.
Which 2 teams?
Well, I'm going to say that the Seattle Seahawks are probably not going to be relevant this year.
Just because of Wilson being traded?
Yeah, and it's just time that they start to fall apart a little bit. And then you got the what do you call it? Who's the
Rams or the 49ers?
49ers. With Deebo Samuel not being very happy, I don't think he's all of a sudden going to become magically happy that he's a 49er.
Unless they give him a big contract.
Well, unless they give him a big contract, which I don't think they're going to do. You still have Jimmy Garoppolo over there.
Yep.
You haven't transitioned over to Trey Lance yet, so we don't know what's going on over there. I just don't think that this is going to be the same division as it was last year.
Yeah.
I think that the Rams are going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be the team to beat this year in the NFL, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to be like a defending Super Bowl champion like some have been in the past. I don't think they're going to have the same thirst that the Patriots did.
Yeah, no. No, most of the teams the second year don't even make the playoffs.
Now
Let
check.
alone have a chance to, huh?
Hold on. When we're talking about teams,
oh boy, here he goes.
Fucking Super Bowl, baby.
Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah. Jeff, how about you, Jackson? Turn around.
How about we just stay right where we are right now? Enjoy the moment.
What moment? Your team won 4 games.
What's that?
Your team won 4 games last year. Now you win the Super Bowl next year? Yeah, you heard me.
I never said that they were going to win the Super Bowl.
So what's that?
I just said that they're going to be successful.
If they win 5 games, they're successful. That all of a sudden now that's it.
Listen, they're going to be a completely different team. You got Coach Salah, okay, running the teams on the field. Yeah. You got the brain trust of Joe Douglas up in the office. Yeah. Okay. You have a field general in Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the gang that's going to be down there. Uh-huh. This is going to be a team, man. I would not want to face these guys. Don't want to face these guys.
Yeah, no. Nobody wants to face those 4-13 Jets. Yeah, you're right. I got you.
You're talking about a different team, man. Talking about a different team.
Same old green machine.
No, not at all. Not
same
at all.
Old green machine.
Who's going to be the same old team? Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay?
Here we go.
My glasses for this one.
Yeah, please take off the glasses for this one. Show your lack of true
lack whatever. Here, I was right about Gettleman. I was right about Judge. It certainly looks like I'm right about Jones. They haven't done anything with Barkley yet, but that's okay. He's going to crash and burn by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Kadarius Toney's turning out to be nothing but a thug. Mm-hmm. Get this man an illegal gun so he could shoot somebody. We get him off the team already. Okay, because his day in court is coming up, and you know it.
Let me know. Okay? You're done.
I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay. Then they go through the draft, and a week later, fire the 2 guys in charge of their scouting department. Are you fucking kidding me?
Smartest move ever.
What? They what?
Smartest move ever.
Smartest move ever. Yeah. Then why didn't you do it months ago?
Because why would you come in? The work for the draft had 99% been done already.
Tom.
And it showed again, they wanted to see if there was compatibility in the war room, in the trenches. And Joe Shane said, listen, I appreciate what they did. Very, very professional. They gave a great thing, but we're on 2 different pages, and it was time to move on. No problem.
if I was one of those guys and I knew that I was getting fired by the Giants of all teams, I would have advised them to make some picks like you wouldn't believe. They would have picked nothing but guards the entire draft.
Oh my God!
Can't believe that they ended up firing these guys. And come on, and that's like hiring a personal chef, and a week later you get the shits, so you fire him. Meanwhile, you went out for lunch at Taco Bell. Just makes no sense.
Listen,
and you know it makes no sense.
They did a great job. They didn't fire the whole scouting department. They got rid of two guys at the top.
You got two top guys.
So what?
Come on. What was the sense of having them in there and only get rid of them a week later?
It was
That's a jet move. That's a jet move. Come on. Let's get rid of Dave McCagnon. Let's get rid of him now. Oh, wait, no. Don't get rid of him yet. Let him sign a bunch of free agents and do the draft. Then we'll get rid of him.
The Giants are on their way to 5.
Yeah, 5 years in a row of having a pick in the top 5. Yeah, that I agree with.
We're going to have to make a bigger shelf. We're going to need a bigger shelf.
Please stop. Please.
Because need a bigger case, as they say.
Please stop.
Hard Rocket Sports, that's Jeff. I'm Tom. We're here on a Thursday night having some fun.
Numbers in fucking Israel are crashing as we speak.
As we let's see. So Hugh Jackson. So Hugh Jackson, Jeff, made an allegation about the Cleveland Browns and how he was offered money to throw football games. So the league hired an independent firm to investigate these claims. Because to me, there's very little bigger that if you were an NFL team or the NFL in general, there's very little that you can do wrong than throw football games, because betting now is huge. And if you give the bettors out there a whiff that your games are not on the level, boy, Jeff, you'd have a huge problem out there.
Yeah, just ask Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, but here's the big problem with this whole investigation. When they came to Hugh Jackson, it's okay, let's hear your story. Let's see your paperwork. Let's see your evidence. He refused to get involved.
You know why?
Why, Jeff?
Because he didn't have any.
Exactly.
You know what else?
What?
He's never, ever, ever, ever again in a gazillion years ever be tied to an NFL team.
Certainly not as a head coach. You're 100% right. I mean, but what are you thinking about making that allegation and then not being able to back it up, or not even trying to back it up?
I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah,
I don't know what he was thinking. Listen, I mean, you're, and not for nothing, they gave this man plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
didn't they give him like 2.5 years or something?
I think he went at least 3 full seasons, or
no,
maybe
3 full seasons. It wasn't 3 full seasons.
You sure?
Positive. Look up his record.
All right, let's pick up.
He was like 1 and 30 something and whatever. I think he did like 2 years and like 4 games or something silly like that. I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if I can find his Wikipedia. So Hugh Jackson as a head coach. Let's see, Baltimore Oakland Raiders. Offensive coordinator was named head coach of the Raiders in 2010, head coach in 2011. Jackson was fired in 2012 after 1 season. He went 8-8 there. Then he went to the Bengals as an assistant. I'm looking for his. Okay, so Cleveland was hired head coach. So he was hired on December 18th as the head coach. Jackson went to win. The Browns finished the season 1-15. He made 3 years. Fired on October 29, 2018.
All right, so he didn't even make.
He was 3-36-1 during his tenure with the team, including 2-5-1 to start the 18th season. So you're right. He only really had a season and a half to do it.
Oh, 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
2.5 seasons. And he got fired on my daughter's birthday.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
October 29th, you said, right?
Yes. October 29th, 2018, he was fired, including a 2-5-1 start to the season. He also never won a road game during his tenure with Cleveland. He was 0-20 on the road as head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Now, listen, the
ahead.
Cleveland Browns, does that surprise you that he was, had such a record?
No.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
Very, 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 very true. Can't see. He's been a head coach after that. So he was a head coach from 16 to 18. We know his record was 336-1, and he's not been in. Right now, he's currently the head coach at Grambling State, 2022. So this year was his first year. His regular season head coaching record, Jeff, not impressive. 11-44-1 as a head coach in the NFL. I don't think he's ever getting another job in the NFL.
No, not anytime.
As a head coach, yeah.
Not unless a couple high-ranking candidates decide to quit.
Yeah, I just don't understand the motivation for making that accusation and then not backing it up. I mean, what was he hoping to gain out of it? So I just think that's.
I think sometimes some of these guys say this shit in the heat of the moment and try to, put somebody up against the wall, and maybe he's hoping like, let's give this guy another chance or something, and it just doesn't work out. But I also think sometimes they have people telling them, I would say this, I would say that, just sensationalize the situation.
Yeah.
You're never going to work again, and nobody's ever going to talk to you about anything credible in your life and your career ever again because of it.
Yeah.
But what else you got to lose? Go ahead, give it a shot.
No, I can't argue that point. I think you're 100% right. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. Let's move on a little bit. Jeff, last Friday night, the Mets had their second no-hitter. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why we're even touching this. With 5 pitches,
that's the point. Yeah,
to throw a no-hitter, that's not a no-hitter.
I agree with you, but technically it's a no-hitter. But I'm not. Now, there's 2 schools of thought on this one. Is it harder to throw a no-hitter with one guy who's having a great game, or having to have 5 guys come in and be good enough to throw a no-hitter? So there is that school of thought. Now, I agree with you. I don't count this as a no-hitter. If I hit if I had a double and a triple, and you had a single and a home run, that doesn't equal the cycle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean, Jeff? So
exactly.
I'm not buying into it. But there are people out there who say, hey, try to get one guy to do it. He's on fire. He can't be hit. I understand it. But, you put 5 guys out there, and they all got to go out there and be perfect. It is a little bit more of a challenge. Do you buy into any of that?
Somewhat, but I would not call it a no-hitter.
I agree with you.
Okay, for 5 guys to come in and whatever it is, maybe some of them pitched as little. I don't know what the numbers were, but let's just say you get one guy that did a third of an inning, another guy did 3.
Yeah,
like the 5 guys pitched. You at best you're talking 1 2/3 innings apiece.
Well, yeah, I'm sure the first guy did 3 or 4 innings. Then the next guy came in, he threw an inning and changed. The next guy threw an inning. Yeah,
evidently. But I mean, if you were to break it down, what are you talking about? 1 and 2/3.
It would actually be 2 and probably 2 and a third, 2 and 2/3. Oh no, 5 guys. I'm sorry, 5 guys. So you're right. Yeah, it is probably like an inning and 2/3.
It has to be.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Because if it can't be 2, because then it would be well over
10 innings. Yes, then you'd be 10 innings. So yes, you're 100% right.
So I mean, you're talking about facing 5 batters.
No, I get it. I'm with you. I don't buy into it, but I was just curious to see what you thought. How about Trevor Bauer? You following that at all? That story?
The name is familiar, but
Trevor Bauer was a pitcher for the Dodgers last year. He was accused of having rough sex. Well, actually accused of raping a woman. He said it was very rough sex. She kind of agreed that it was. Maybe it wasn't, but it turned out he was on administrative leave for the rest of last year. He had just signed a very big contract, almost signed with the Mets, so I'm signing with the Dodgers. And the charges were all dropped, but yet he still got a 2-year suspension from the team. Now, to your thoughts sometimes, Jeff, and you're the guy who usually is the voice of reason. The man was not accused of anything. Why is he suspended for 2 years?
Well, I think that.
And by the way, he was accused of punching her in the private area.
Private area.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Part of the lovemaking, she said she wanted was to be
Lovemaking?
choked to near unconsciousness and punched in the privates.
Wow. Listen, if I'm a sports figure,
yes,
and I come across a woman and she wants this done,
yes,
I'm setting up a camera and interviewing her before this, and with some questions like what's about to happen. This is what you want, correct? Maybe have her sign some legal papers. Like I requested to get punched in the vagina. I requested to get choked out till I fucking my eyeballs rolled in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I would want some legal protection with all of this because it just, it's an iffy road to travel. First of all, I'm not into these kind of activities as it is.
You're not into this genre of sexual activity?
No, I'd have to say I'm going to pass on that one. I'm sure the wife would not want to explore this genre, as you put it,
yes,
of sexual activity.
Yes.
I probably don't know any women in my lifetime that would have said like, "Hey, let's give it a shot."
Hey, punch me in the vagina.
Yeah, what are you doing? Nothing. Why don't you come on over, punch me in the vagina? Yeah, really? Well, I'm going to pass on that one. So I don't know, man. And your thoughts on this one?
Listen, I'm not a fan of Trevor Bauer. He should definitely be suspended. I don't know. 2 years seems awfully. Guys are doing PEDs. They're driving drunk, and they're not getting anywhere near 2 years. I think it was a little bit overdone. I think he might be done in baseball. I think the Dodgers will never take him back in. I think most teams will run for the hills. So I think the guy's basically done. He'll collect the money he can collect. And he's out, and probably good riddance. I've never been a big fan of Trevor Bauer. I think he's an asshole. But I thought it was an interesting case. I said I got to bring it up on the air. We have to kind of talk about it a little bit.
Just kind of curious if like Bang Brothers is going to sign him to recreate this night of lovemaking, as you put it.
This night of frivolity.
Oh man!
Hello, my dear. How are you?
Consummate this fucking relationship, sweetheart. There we go.
Excuse me, can you slide over a little bit so I can get a better view of punching you in the vagina, please?
Yeah, really. Oh man! Wow! Jesus fucking Christ! Huh?
Yeah, I don't really care what other people do, but it does amaze me what people go through, what people do in their private lives. Like, what gets them motivated? It just amazes me. I have to tell you.
Listen,
I certainly have no interest in it, but it does amaze me.
Certain people that I don't want to know about. I don't want to hear about. I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you do it with. I just don't care. Okay? Because it's just that whatever. There's nothing. But my thing is that everybody, whether you want to say yes or no, whatever, whoever's listening, whoever's not listening, everybody has their own thing that they like to do, that they enjoy, whatever it may be. Doesn't really matter what it is, but they all like to enjoy certain things, right?
Yep.
Then you get a guy like Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
And it's just like mind blowing, like to think like, okay, what made you think it is? Like, whose idea was it? If it was Trevor's idea,
yeah,
you got me thinking like, this isn't the first rodeo, is it, Trevor?
No. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that she. I can't imagine if the things that she wanted to have happen that night that would be on the top of our list.
Yeah, but now here's something to think about.
Go ahead.
If this was Trevor's idea,
yep,
and he did this against her will,
yep.
Because we've seen this happen. Matter of fact, we've seen it happen with Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Where's the other 25 to 50 women
yes.
that are going to claim that, Trevor Bauer fucking end up Mike Tysoning their vaginas?
Very true. That's a good way to put it.
Okay? Because then that alone would make me believe that, that this isn't something that this guy just developed into wanting to do.
No, this is not a first time. He thought of it on the drive over. Let me drive over. We're gonna have some fun. You know what I think I'll do tonight?
He wasn't listening to Sports Talk Radio when somebody insinuated this, and he's going to try it out.
I got a feeling that the conversation wasn't, well, I'll do anything. I'm not into the backside, but you can do almost anything else. Oh, can I punch you in the vagina?
Yeah, well,
You know,
it's I
I
don't
guess
know.
we all have our rules, Jeff. We all have our rules.
In the heat in the moment, I guess anything could happen. I don't know.
I guess. What's next? Excuse me, can I bring a waffle iron and hit you upside the head with a waffle iron during sex?
Oh my God, I don't know. Just whacked out shit, man. I don't know.
By the way, I got the Ranger game. Just put the Ranger game on. Rangers up 3-1 over Pittsburgh. 5 minutes and change left in the second period. Rangers down 1-0 in this best of 7 series. So, looks so far like the Rangers are having the better way. They're I think the better team. So we'll keep an eye on playoff hockey. And,
so, in other words, the Rangers are doing the Trevor to the Penguins.
I think to the Penguins. That will be our new saying on the show, Jeff.
Doing the Trevor.
Doing the Trevor. So, so we'll just figured I broached the Trevor Bauer thing with you, and we have a few more minutes with that.
I don't even know if I'm going to give this up, man.
Well, we'll have to figure out a way to keep it in there every week.
Let me ask you something. Why is it that you don't like Trevor?
He's just one of those guys. He's very arrogant, very anti-fan, like one of those guys who likes to tell the fans that I make a lot of money and you shouldn't tell me what to do. Just an arrogant guy. I just never been a big fan of it. Very talented player. Just never been a big fan of the guy. That's all.
Never been a big fan of the guy.
Yeah. Well, are you more of a fan of him now? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no. Actually, no. I'm not a big into mixing pleasure and violence. It just doesn't sound like it's a good idea.
No, it does not.
But I just when you hear somebody like that, it's just curious. Like, what made you dislike him? And I'm sure it wasn't because he's using someone's vagina as a speed bag.
That's what you were going with.
Well, part of it is like.
Yeah, that's not exactly why I don't like the guy, but it doesn't help now, so that's for sure. But Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom talking vagina bashing right here in the Hard Rock and Sports show. So since we didn't have Andy Curran for as long as we expected, we got to fill it in with some other stuff. So thanks for being.
Maybe it's good that Andy wasn't here right now.
Will you ask Andy next week if he's ever participated? Now, I've heard some crazy stuff. I read Coney Hatch's book, and there was some crazy stuff done. This one was, I have to say, which kind of shocked me when I read the article.
Yeah, but I got a feeling no matter what Coney Hatch's book,
yes, it was Coney Hatch's book.
No matter what he wrote in his book, even he's going to be like, dude, really?
Yeah, and Coney's band used a live shark on a female. So
was that not? That was Led Zeppelin.
No, that was Carmine. I read it in his book, and he talked about it on our show. As a matter of fact,
Carmine did also because Led Zeppelin used a mud shark.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So it's, that must have been a thing back in the 70s, Jeff.
Oh, it might have been. There was one. Marilyn Manson, right?
Yes.
I had heard when I read a book, an autobiography of Marilyn Manson, and he came up with stuff. Did you ever hear of the meat helmet?
Not till just now.
All right, well, Mr. Manson fashioned a helmet out of meat.
I
believe they sewed it together and they put it on a deaf girl. And things started to get out of hand as they were having relations with the deaf girl, who obviously couldn't hear because she is deaf. They were like screaming in her ear while wearing a meat helmet. And then I believe they urinated on it. They topped it all off by washing off the meat, so to speak.
Jeff, if anytime you get to a point where a deaf girl's wearing a meat helmet, things have gotten completely out of hand.
Yeah, I once again would have to say, like, I can't be here for this.
I think punching a vagina at that point might be a step up.
I don't know.
It's definitely close.
I don't. It depends on what you're screaming at the girl, I guess. I don't know.
But if she's deaf, does it matter what you're screaming at her?
It does, Tom.
It does.
Because if somebody else can hear you, if somebody's within earshot.
Well, if you signed it to her, is that better? Maybe if you signed it in a violent way, is that the same?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know sign language, so it's
We're
hard.
literally splitting hairs here, Jeff. We're splitting hairs.
We kind of are, but when you think about it, yeah, it's.
I would just say this: who thinks of sewing meat together to make a helmet for a deaf girl?
I think it's remarkable. It's remarkable. It's just that you could listen. Sewing the meat together is one thing.
Yeah.
But then taking the meat and putting it on someone and be like, this is a meat helmet. It's a meat helmet. Think of that.
I can't. I'm trying to. I've seen the meat coat. I think it was Lady Gaga showed up to an event in a meat coat.
Yeah, I believe it was.
And the Penguins just scored 3-2 Rangers. Sydney, the pussy, Crosby puts one a rebound in off Shishkirkin. So sit tight. The game is certainly not over. Rangers 3-2 up with about a minute and change left in the second period. I hate that guy. Anyway, so Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom, we're hanging, we're banging, and I'm not sure what else we're doing here. Just having some fun for the last few minutes of the show. Let's see. Let's talk a little draft here, Jeff. I don't know if you got prepared enough to do winners and losers in the draft this week.
Yeah, I can do them. Did you get that?
I haven't opened it up yet. I am.
Check it out. I want to see your face as you open this one.
Let's see if I can get over there. It's a pain in the ass. Let's see. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'd rather get punched in the vagina. See that ever again. Why do I have to see that?
Because I did.
Jeff, so I'll give you my winners and losers in this in the NFC. Not many winners. Seattle didn't do terrible. I thought a couple of good offensive linemen in the draft helped them, but Tampa Bay got a B in my opinion.
Oh, well, hold on there. You said Seattle first?
Yeah.
You could get every offensive lineman you want. Who they protected?
Again, I'm only talking about the draft. So again, I think they drafted well. I don't think their team is set up next year. I think they have to go out and try to get Baker Mayfield. They have to try to get somebody to play quarterback. But I agree, they should have took a quarterback in the first round if they thought so.
Listen, I don't think they should have taken a quarterback in the first round just for the sake of taking a quarterback in the first round. But I also think this: when you had a quarterback on your team, and he was complaining about lack of protection and everything else, and you get rid of him and you're like, we'll show you. And then you start drafting quarterbacks. There's something up there. Drafting linemen, there's something up there.
Yeah.
I think that there's one thing is winning the draft. One thing is having a good draft.
And
one thing is having a lot of pieces on the team and you complementing and winning the draft through making your team more complete than it once was.
Yeah.
So even though they might have had a good draft, I got to go against what you're saying about them having a great draft because what did they do? They didn't help their team.
Oh, I disagree. I think they helped their team. You draft a couple of good offensive linemen like that, your future setup, but now you need somebody to play quarterback, and I agree with you that they don't have. The team I really thought that
the Jets had Joe Namath as quarterback 50-something years ago, but we got to receive it this year.
Well, don't forget they only have those draft picks because they traded their quarterback. If they not traded their quarterback, they don't have those picks.
Understandable.
You know what I mean? So they're trying to get better. But we'll see how that plays out. I thought the Lions did really well. They get Aiden Hutchinson. And you see the thing where the NFL got mad at them because they put their pick in too quick.
No, I did not.
They were actually sent their pick in. The commissioner was up on the stage announcing Trayvon Walker to the Jacksonville Jaguars with the number 1 pick, and their pick was already in. And the NFL's like, "What are you doing? Why are you sending this in so quick?" They want to space them out, to give time for the analysts time to break down the picks, commercials, suspense, and they said, "Screw you! This is who we want. We're happy we're thrilled to get them," and they did it. And they also picked up Jameson Williams from Alabama, which most people think is the best receiver in the draft if he gets healthy. So I think the Lions did a lot to help themselves in this draft.
They might have done a lot to help themselves. Not for nothing. Why would they have to wait? And why would they have to rush? Why would they want to rush?
Yeah.
You're going next.
Yeah.
So you have thousands of players to choose from.
Yep.
It's your call. So what difference does it make? Don't take away from another team's thunder. You know what I mean? Just because that of what they did, you want to get your pick in, because the NFL could turn around and say, listen, as soon as we say that that pick, the Jaguars pick is in, you could hand your pick in, but we ain't reading it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're giving 10 minutes in for each player. That's how it is. We could even tell them Lions pick is in. But anyway, tell us about Mr. Walker here. And just go that way.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, the NFL, don't publicly reprimand somebody. You should have just done it behind the scenes and be like, listen, you got 10 minutes. That's it.
Yep.
In other words, we're telling you we're not touching your pick for 10 minutes.
Well, that's the difference. I mean, what's the difference if they make the pick? Just sit there and hold it. You don't have to announce it. To me, they knew they were making it. Go for it.
But that's the NFL too.
Yeah.
The NFL, every single pick was announced as being in.
Yes.
And then we had to wait for the pick anyway. So what's the difference?
I agree with you. I agree 100%. Well, like I said, I just thought Detroit did well. The Packers, again, no receiver first round, not until second or third round they get one. The Bears didn't do anything. The craziest one was probably Cowboys taking Tyler Smith, the offensive tackle from Tulsa, where there were so many bodies around that were higher thought of and in more needs than they had. So a very strange draft by Jerry Jones. So that surprised me a little bit. I thought the Falcons had a good draft.
Tom, keep going. I'm sorry. I have to get to the next room real quick.
Oh, go ahead. I was a little surprised by the Texans taking Derek Stingley. A lot of upside, but Sauce Gardner was the right pick there for the Jets. Thank goodness they got the guy they wanted. I'm curious what the Jets would have done if Sauce wasn't there. Of course, nobody's going to ask that question, and certainly Joe Douglas is not going to answer it. But I'm curious if they would have went offensive line, if they would have took the edge rusher. Would they taken Stingley? Did they think enough of Stingley to take him in that spot? So we'll never know. Hard Rock Sports, Jeff and Tom, hanging in here a few more minutes tonight, talking sports again. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And, of course, happy Cinco de Mayo. Enjoy your May 5th. Hope everybody had had a burrito for dinner. As a matter of fact, wife got a little Mexican food for us tonight. So I hope everybody else is enjoying their Cinco de Mayo. And good luck to the Rangers, which is on my screen right now. Somebody trying to call me. Yeah, Lori. Good. How are you? Sorry, Jeff, I had to take a quick phone call there.
Oh, don't worry about it, Tom.
So
I had a little too much soda to drink at dinner time, and it reared its ugly head.
No problem. Jeff, moving over to the AFC. Lots of good teams. Interesting picks by the Patriots, obviously. They take a guard in the first round from University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And a lot of people were smiling and laughing, but when the genius makes a pick, you got to go, maybe he knows something more than we do.
Well, listen, Tom, this is a man that has unparalleled success in the NFL and winning championships. So you really can't question many things that he does. That's quite obvious. But the guy is getting older, and maybe he just doesn't care about who he picks. But once again, I've said it 1,000 times. What difference does it make if it's your pick and this is the player that you want? You can't worry about what this one says and what that one says. I want this kid. He's a guard. I'm taking him. I want this kid. He's a punter. I'm taking him.
Yeah.
So it's your pick. It's your team. If you don't make it, you can't bring it back and say, well, I want that one instead. You made this pick. That's all there is to it. If that's who he wanted, more power to him. Take it.
Yeah, listen.
I didn't follow the Patriots at all with their draft, but I know that more than one person has said something about their draft picks, that the Jets actually had a better draft than them and may actually have a better team than them right now because of it.
It's interesting, and they took a quarterback on the 3rd round. This kid Bailey Zapp, whose girlfriend has been all over the social media, and it was interesting to take a quarterback. If Mac Jones is coming into his 2nd season, by all accounts, had a really good freshman year with the team. Interesting that they took a kind of unknown guy and in the 3rd round of the draft to be a backup quarterback.
Well, listen, we've seen what they've done with other quarterbacks later on in the draft, so I'm not about to sit here and question Bill Belichick and his pick of quarterbacks at any round of the draft.
Very true. And of course, Kenny Pickett, the only quarterback taken in the 1st round. Most people thought that Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett might go early, top 10. Neither one did. And Willis fell to 3rd round to the...
No. It was the other kid.
Huh?
That was the kid from Pitt.
No,
Kenny Willis,
Kenny
right?
Willis. Kenny Pickett went to...
Kenny Pickett, not Willis.
He went to the Steelers at the 20th pick, but Malik Willis, a lot of people were pushing him to go in the top 10. He wound up going later in the draft to the Tennessee Titans.
Now,
preferably more than likely to push Ryan Tannehill, who, by the way, came out and said, I am not a mentor. That's not my job. My job is to win the starting quarterback job.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him under my wing either. Why? By you helping him out and mentoring him, you're just getting yourself thrown out of there even sooner.
Pretty much what he said.
Okay, but let's go back to Pittsburgh real quick.
Yeah, sure.
John's not here tonight unless he's listening in the wings and he's waiting for his moment, which is possible. I got to be honest with you. I was not really sold on that pick. I know that John wanted him.
Yeah.
And you're asking to replace Ben Roethlisberger with this kid. Like, is this the one to do it?
Good question.
And I don't know. I mean, you got to think you didn't have to move up to within the top 10 to grab him. You didn't have to. You stayed pretty much right where you were. Did they move up like one spot, Pittsburgh?
No. They were able to get him right at their spot.
Yeah. Okay. So you went to the 20th pick and you got this guy. Why? He wasn't linked to anybody else. Nothing.
I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah, again, listen, I think Kenny Pickett's not a bad player. I don't see him as a guy who's going to be ready the next couple of years. They have Trubisky. Is that the answer? I don't think so. We're going to find out. Will he push? They push each other. I have no idea.
2 weeks ago, Trubisky was like, everybody, this is the poster boy for this year. And everybody's like, oh, he was a backup. He was a backup. We worked behind Josh Allen, and then all of a sudden, here he is, the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't agree with it either, Tom, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the Steelers had more needs in that spot than to take Kenny Pickett. There again, I don't think he's a game changer. Who knows? It could be dead wrong. All the quarterbacks fell in this draft. Ritter fell. Malik Willis fell. Matt Corral fell. Sam Howell fell. They all fell deeper than they all thought they were going to. And I think there's a reason for this. This quarterback class is not great. Now, Kenny Pickett is a number 1 pick, and we'll see how he plays out. I don't think he has a chance to start this year. So I'll be surprised if he plays any meaningful football for this team this year, maybe even next year, because I think he needs some work.
I don't get the point of using a number 1 draft pick on a player that can help you today. And when I mean today, I mean the year that he's drafted in. He was drafted in 22. Well, he's going to have to sit and learn. He might not even get dressed for any games this year. And it's like, well, why did you pick him?
Yeah. No, in today's day and age, Jeff, you have to be able, your number 1 and probably your number 2 picks have to contribute in their rookie seasons and meaningfully.
Of course.
Yeah, it's the way the game's played, and it's not so much the way the game's played. It's the way that the salary structure is set up. You need those guys who are cheap for the next couple of years to be major components of your team. Otherwise, you can't build your team. You're expecting these guys to be year 1 starters at a low discount rate.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're hurting. You're certainly hurting the team. So again, if I was drafting Kenny Pickett in that spot, it would be the fact that Kenny Pickett was going to be at least be a guy who competes for the starting job.
I agree.
But I don't see that. I don't think they signed Trubisky for the contract they gave him and then drafted a guy to make this a fight. I think Kenny Pickett's expected to come in and be the backup guy. And sorry, on a Steelers team that has been okay for a few years now, I think it needed a guy who's going to come in and make an impact ASAP. And it could have got a lot of guys who could have been that guy.
Sure.
So yeah, I just think it was a tough spot to take it.
At least they didn't move up, Tom, to get him.
You know what, Jeff? I agree with that. I do. But if you're the Steelers and quarterback needing teams like the Panthers, the Saints, the Falcons, all teams that needed a quarterback, just let all of these guys slide. It's got to tell you something.
Well, it's got to tell you a lot of different things, Tom. And one of the things that has to happen is you got to realize that, none of the other quarterbacks went.
Yeah.
None of these teams were connected to these quarterbacks at any other point of the draft. So I just don't see the point of us rushing out. Okay, we had our pick of all of the quarterbacks when we got to Pittsburgh at number 20.
Yep.
Pittsburgh could sit back and be like, we could pick everybody. It doesn't matter who we pick. We could whatever.
Yeah.
And they went with this kid, and that's understandable. That's their guy and everything. But hey, listen, it is what it is. It's not our guy.
No,
not our guy. And we were just talking. You're talking Mayfield, Donald, Rosen. Okay, quarterbacks that were taken just a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
That had plenty of promise and everything.
Oh, yeah, they were much hyped crew. Yep.
Yeah, any one of the 3 of them could have been the number 1 pick. And look at this. You may have all 3 of them out of a fucking NFL career.
Yeah, after this year, it's very possible. Yeah. Rosen's out. I think he's backing up. He was backing up in Miami last year. I don't know where he is this year.
Listen, being a backup in this time and day and age in the NFL doesn't mean much.
No. You got guys running around there still being backups that when they get the opportunity can't play, and we saw that last year with the bunch of teams. It's an interesting draft. Again, listen, we all know the draft is no guarantee because the guy's taking the first pick in the draft or the 199th pick in the draft. There's no guarantee either one of them will fail or succeed. So. Yeah. But I do love your team's draft. I thought Jermaine Johnson is a steal at 26. But again, same thing for me, Jeff. Why did everybody else let him slide all the way down? And this is a guy that some people had as high as number 2 or 3 in the draft. And he went all the way down to 26. I just, I don't know why is the question. I'm sure we can't answer it, but it does make me a little suspicious of that.
Well, you know what, Tom? This is how I see it. Okay, we started off with defensive players in the draft. Okay, went through a few defensive players, switched over to receivers. Then there was a run on receivers. Okay, and then there was some more players picked in between and everything else. That probably by the time 1A, by the time they got back around to like, oh shit, the defensive lineman, we got to start picking them. It would be later on in the draft, or B, it just simply, you know what, the guy dropped. That's fine with me. The Jets showed being aggressive by trading back into the first round. I think that they played it smart. They didn't give up 10 million different things to get into that position, that portion of the draft, and they grabbed the player that they wanted. So me personally, I think they did excellent. They had an excellent draft.
Yeah.
They didn't give much up.
No.
And if these three guys pan out, those three guys alone are worth their weight in gold in the draft.
Absolutely. And there was another kid drafted, this kid, Jeremy Ruckert. He played, I want to say Iowa, or I think it was Illinois. I'm not 100% sure. Tight end. And I don't know if you saw the video. He grew up in a house. The father's like a concrete guy, family, hardworking people, but huge Jet fans. And And I don't know if you saw the celebration in his house. I want to play it because this is what it's all about, Jeff, right here. Hold on. See if you can see this. Hold on. Where's the volume?
Hard to describe the amount.
We go back a little bit. Sorry.
It's hard to describe the amount of joy felt by Jeremy Ruckert and his family Friday night.
It was just amazing. And this night is amazing. I'll never forget.
Just imagine a Long Island football player whose favorite team growing up was the Jets actually being drafted by the Jets.
Jeremy Ruckert.
Wow.
Couldn't think of a better place than to go play for Coach Sala and that culture that he's setting there. I'm just excited. I would wait till the 50th round. I don't care. I mean, I'm just excited to play football. I'm excited to do what I grew up dreaming about.
But before that joyous call, there were plenty of anxious moments inside where the Ruckert family was watching and waiting. Here's how it went down.
Tonight's going to be a lot of waiting. I feel like it's going to feel like forever. But, yeah, like you said, I've been dreaming about this since I was a little kid. I've been playing football for a while now, and I've been working towards this goal. And it's just something that I can't wait to hear my name, to get that phone call and be there with my family.
But the wait was a lot longer than Jeremy had hoped.
The Vikings select Ed Ingram, guard from LSU.
Pick by pick went by.
The Cincinnati Bengals select Zachary Carter.
Hour after hour, and still no call.
So the Giants are up. New York Giants select Cordell Flott.
I just want him to be happy. He's worked so hard. He deserves the best, and just want him to get picked.
The Indianapolis Colts select Nick Cross.
It was such a long process, and you watch all the other guys getting picked, and it's just rough. And it's hard because you never want to see your kid, hurt.
But then at 11:21 p.m., more than 4 hours after the draft began, the pride of Lindenhurst got the call he's waited a lifetime for.
That's great.
Jeremy, was it worth the wait?
It was worth the wait. I would wait hours more for that moment again. I mean, you were here, you felt it, the energy in here. Once they find out who's on the other side of that phone call, I'll never forget this moment for my family.
A journey beginning with dressing up as his favorite Jet, to starring for Lindenhurst High School, to playing for Ohio State, has led Jeremy Ruckert back home.
Is this like the greatest moment of your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's the greatest moment. I think that just like you said, looking back on how we grew up, and my family was watching the games every weekend and going to the practices at Hofstra. It's a storybook moment, but it's not the storybook ending. And I can't wait to finish that and close that book.
For Newsday TV, I'm Jamie Stewart.
Jeff, that's what it's all about right there. I had to play that for you.
Qualified to get Tesla solar panels?
That was very cool, man. That was extremely cool.
I had to play that for you because I said, this is what the draft should be all about. There's a guy who grew up a Jets fan. His father's a diehard, obviously, Jet fan. And then to sit there and be able to watch your kid get drafted by your, not by a team you like or a team that's in your town, or I used to be a Jet fan, but my son got drafted by the Giants, so I'm going to root for the Giants now. This is a guy who is a family that was completely used to go to Hofstra to watch the Jets practice. And now the kid gets drafted. That's pretty cool. That was a pretty good story. I figured I'd have to show it.
Yeah, man. If you're the father, you got to be more than ecstatic.
Oh,
and, I like the way the kid had all of those different hats there.
Well, the NFL sends out that to all the kids, so that way, when they get drafted, they'll have the hat for the team because they don't know who's going to get picked and where. So each guy who's expected to be drafted gets a delivery of all those hats.
Hey, listen, that's a pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool gift.
Yeah,
it is right there, right?
Yep. So you get 32 hats delivered, and
although you got to get rid of the 31 other hats, can't be seen.
I'm sure he won't have a problem giving those away in the neighborhood somewhere. But good for Jeremy Ruckert and good for the Jets. I think I said great job by Joe Douglas in this draft. First two picks to me were simple and easy. Gardner's it was a no-brainer, and Garrett Wilson. Unless they will take a shot at Williams and hoping he played this year. Those are two no-brainers and a good job by the Jets to get him. But I was really impressed later on.
I'm glad they didn't go with that kid from Alabama because if he can't play this year, what's the point? Like I said, what's the point?
No, I don't disagree with you, Jeff, on that one. I like Williams for a long term. I think on a team like the Jets, you can kind of bury him for a year and not have to worry about it. There's no big expectations next year. But I understand as a Jet fan or somebody who wants the Jets to win sooner than later, you want guys who, especially a number one pick, number 10 in the draft, you want that guy to be a spark next year. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
I could see if he was he fell to the second round or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have Elijah Moore from last year, Denzel Mims from 2 years ago, whose career probably with the Jets is over.
Yeah, probably.
But who's never really seemed to have been given a fair shake.
Yeah.
And listen, if these three pan out, they got some very good players, plus the running back from Iowa.
Yes.
That's
a good draft. It's a good draft.
Yeah. It's here's hoping. As a Jet fan, that's all I could say is here's hoping.
Well, listen, you just wanted to be competitive. I mean, and again, I think they have a tougher road than the Giants do in the sense that I think that, the conference is tough. I mean, all the, that's just top to bottom is just a tough conference. And that the division is the division. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are probably everybody's expectation to win it this year. The Patriots are the Patriots, and who knows with Miami? They got Tyreek Hill. They should be a better team this year. So it's going to be a tough division.
Should. We'll see.
We'll break it down when we do some more shows, and of course that. And last thing, Jeff, on this one, 4 NFL games out of the country this year, 3 in London and 1 in Germany. The Giants will open up the slate October the 9th in London against the Packers. No, I'm sorry, Vikings Saints on October 2nd in London. Giants Packers the following week, and then October 30th Jaguars and the Broncos. And then November 13th, the Bucks and the Seahawks in Germany for the first time ever.
Yeah, I don't see the fascination of trying to push the NFL as a product to all of these different places. I just wish that it wouldn't happen.
I agree.
And I think it cheapens the game because you're bringing you're selling it with fanfare. You know what I mean? There's no football league in these other countries like this. No. There are other soccer leagues, there's other hockey leagues, there's other baseball leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But football is basically an American sport played in America by Americans. You got the CFL, but it's a different game.
Yeah.
You have the XFL and some of these other leagues, the USFL and a few other leagues, but none of them are styled right after, with the same rules to mirror the NFL. And just, after a while, it's like, you know what? It doesn't. I don't want to see that. I want to see regular football. It's like the NHL. This is where the elite come to play.
Yep.
There's people that leave Major League Baseball that go to Japan to play baseball on the same level.
Sure.
There's people that leave the NBA to go to Spain and some of these other European countries to play against top-notch talent. But when it comes to playing football, you go to the NFL. When it comes to playing hockey, you go to the NHL, even though there's other teams that were other leagues, other teams. Do you know that years ago when they were having the lockouts and the strikes in the NHL, a lot of these guys would sign contracts to go play in different countries.
Sure.
So in the contract that they signed, it said that once the NFL or the NHL was back in business, that's it. So and so is out of here.
Yeah.
His career here is done.
Right.
So I mean, that's got to be telling you something right there from the start that we're not staying here for this. We're done and we're out. So it's got to be telling you something right off the bat there.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Like I said, I just think I'm not a huge fan of it. I think the games are played early. I think it's just too many standalone games at that point. Again, you're robbing a team. Like the Giants the home game is for the Packers, so the Giants should be going to Green Bay, and playing in Lambeau Field, and they're not. So they lose a home game this year. The Packers to do this again. To me, the Giants have won. I think they've played 3 times in London. They've won all 3 times. So, whatever. If that's a meaning to it, let it happen. But I'm not a big fan of playing outside the country. I don't think it's grown the game any more than it can already.
No, I mean, I could see if you want to play a game in Mexico, if the stadium and the grounds and everything else are conducive to play for.
Yeah.
Play
they did that a few years ago. Yeah, they did that a few years ago.
I remember.
Yeah,
but
the Rangers
take
went
it
down
all the way over to Europe. Just I don't know. You're never going to have a team in Europe.
No.
That like okay, the Giants are going to go play over there in the Frankfurters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, listen, guys, we'll end it right here. We had a good show. We came up with some new terms for the show. What was the Trevor one? Does it? I
think it was doing the Trevor, right?
I think that's it. You were doing the Trevor, so we'll have to keep that alive on the show. But let's thank everybody who participated. Thanks to the band Pressure from Sweden for giving us the opportunity to premiere their new video, Just Undress, which I thought was an interesting video and a pretty good song. So thanks to Simon and Olive and all the band and Sam Bone for setting it up. Thanks to Chip and Hadley over at Chipster for setting up Andy Curran. And thanks to Andy Curran for being a good sport and giving it a good try getting on the air tonight. Good guest, and we're looking forward to having him back next week. And hopefully we can work out the bugs in the system, Jeff.
Here's hoping, man.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Good guest. Looking forward to it. Thanks to my dad for checking in. Thanks for everybody paying attention online and off the air. And I really appreciate it. Again, for me, I want to thank everybody who pays attention to each and every week. And we wouldn't do it without you. And, of course, thanks to my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Tolwinski, who graciously shows up each week and didn't rub it in my face so bad with his sunglasses and his hat on his Jets draft. So
I'll be wearing this hat every single week.
Oh boy!
And the glasses, that's part of the costume, baby.
That's all part of the character now.
All part of it, baby.
Is this like your WWF character now with the sunglasses, the hat?
This is real.
This is real. There's no character. Would you be considered a heel or what they call the non-heel in WWF?
Dude, I am the man the women want. I am the man the men want to be.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, I am a Jet fan.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. The sequence has been launched, man. That's it.
You're good. You're good. You got out of your system.
The way I see it, 2 years ago we hired Coach Salah and Joe Douglas, and it was 10, 9. Right now we're at about 5.
Yeah, okay.
Season starts, we'll be at 4.
Countdown started.
Huh?
Countdown has started.
That's how it started. And when we hit 1, just sit back and watch, please. Please. I'll even allow you. I'm telling you now. I'll even allow you to come on over to this side.
No, don't worry.
I'm allowing it.
That's how we roll in this house, my friend. This is how we roll.
that rolls like a square wheel.
That's how we roll. So
right.
Anyway, nobody going over there, but we will be going off the air now. I want to, again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I hope everybody has a great day and gets all the good stuff, and they hope everybody gets to spend their time with their loved ones on this day. Again, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody out there. I did have a burrito before the show, so I got to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Jeff, did you partake of any Cinco de Mayo type stuff today? A little tequila, a burrito, a taco?
I yelled at some Spanish guy, if that makes anything. I don't know. I don't think it really counts, but
well, we can. It's kind of doing the Trevor kind of.
Well, kind of, but there is a Spanish guy I work with. I get along with pretty well. He's a good guy.
And you yelled at him?
Yeah, I yelled at everybody. And I told him one day, I was like, speaking Spanish isn't so hard. And he's like, yeah. He goes, what are you talking about? So I was like, I'll show you. I was like, what do you want for el luncho? And he just looks at me. He's like, you motherfucker. So whenever I see him, I'll bust his balls about that. And he laughs, I laugh, and then we go to sausage game.
Well, you guys got a little bit of everything tonight. You got a little Spanish lesson from Jeff. So happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. We'll be back next week. We got a couple of guests. Hopefully it's Andy Curran and our regularly scheduled guests, but I'll keep everybody up to date. Please enjoy your night, your weekend, and your week, and we'll see you back here next Thursday night when Jeff and I do this all over again. And keep your eyes out on SundayAudible.com for another show from John, Jeff, and myself. We'll be doing one a month probably till the season starts, so make sure you guys pay attention to the Sunday Audible. And we got some stuff coming from our good friends at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co., so pay attention for that. Jeff was spearheading the Hard Rock and Sports Hemp Wizard line, so we'll get more on that coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff's working on a nice scent. So anyway, guys, thanks again to everybody, and make sure you guys come on back. So for Jeff Towinski and myself and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, I say thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Thursday night when we do this all over again. All right, Hefe, I'll catch you off the air, bro.
All right, man. Later. Rosie, thank you.
Oh, yes, and this one was for Rosie, right?
Yeah.
Good job, Jeff. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, my man.
All right, man. Later.